Hello and welcome. I'm Nicole Wild. If we haven't gotten the chance to practice together yet, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you landed on my page, on my channel. And I'm really excited for today's practice. It's going to be about 30 minutes long, and it's super challenging, playful, funky, creative sequencing. If you're feeling like you're not quite ready to get moving yet, you might add some warm-ups for the wrists, some warm-ups, anywhere in the body where you're feeling tight before we start. I always do my best to warm us up in these sequences, but especially with these shorter flows where we're wanting to get into the movement, if at any point you feel like you're not ready to go into something that I've offered, please honor your body enough to pause the video, take a little extra warm up, or even just modify throughout the flow. So if you have any questions, comments, requests, I always encourage them below. I'm looking and listening and interacting with you all as much as I can. I try to make it a point to respond to most every comment. If you've been with me for a bit, you might know that I'm getting ready to release a membership site. I won't go into too many details here. I did make a whole other video post about it, but starting April 1st, you can practice with me in full 60-minute classes 2 to 3 times per week, working on the details there. So thecollectivekula.com is where you can sign up to be on the wait list for when that launches, and I'll put that below also. Thanks for being here. Let's move. Okay, so we're gonna get started actually sitting on our shins or on our knees with the toes tucked under and sit back on the heels. Ooh, the stretch for the bottoms of the feet. It is an intense one, or can be. Let's also interlace all 10 fingers. We're gonna roll out the wrists. Super important to get into the wrists before we put weight on them. Switch the direction of your circles. And then bring the hands to interlace behind the back. All 10 fingers to interlace. Lift the tailbone, pull the heart through. It's one of my favorites. It feels so good. A little baby back bend, heart opener. We're gonna play here. See if you can shift fully onto the toes. Lift the knees. Drop the heels down and come all the way to your forward fold at the back of the mat with the hands interlaced. So heels of the palms squeeze towards each other, and the hands are pulling away from the back body. If the feet are not already, let's walk them to about hip width distance apart. Take a bend just into the right knee and let the right shoulder drop towards the right knee. Getting a little bit into the outer hip, IT band. Re-straighten through the right leg and swap it out. Bend into the left knee, left shoulder drops. Re-straighten through the left leg, release the hands down to the mat. Just letting upper body completely hang heavy here. Let the chin drop in towards the chest like you're trying to reach the crown of the head towards the floor. And then one vertebrae at a time, take this slow. Let it feel good. We are rolling up the spine, come all the way up to standing. Arms sweep up overhead at the top. Let the right hand grab the left wrist. So right hand is holding onto the left wrist. We're shifting weight into the left foot and stepping right toes off to the left side of the mat. I'm wrong. Left hand should be holding the right wrist for this. So left hand is holding the right wrist. Right toes step off to the left side of the mat. Lift up and out of the waist and lean the upper body over to the left. So you're creating a half moon shape with the body. From the right wrist all the way to the outside edge of the right foot. Inhale to come back through center, and then we swap it out. Right hand holds onto the left wrist. Left toes step off to the right side of the mat, and you're lifting up and out of the waist and leaning over to the left, half moon shape with the left side of the body. Inhale to come back through center. Feet are hip width distance apart. On your exhale, bend into the knees, send the hips back, send the heart forward, starting to fire up the core a bit, fire up the legs. If ever this is too much for the low back, arms can always come back to airplane wings. Squeeze thighs towards each other just a bit. We want to make sure that the knees stay hip width distance, and then shift your weight onto the toes. The heels lift from the mat. Firing up the calves. And on your exhale, lower the hips all the way down to the heels. We're going to create a tall spine here, so upper body lifts, and then pressing into the balls of the feet, slow motion. We're coming all the way up to standing. The slower you go, the more difficult it becomes. Stay on the toes. Just as slowly on your exhale, we're going to lower all the way back down. until eventually hips land on top of the heels. One more time, slow-mo, press into the toes, come all the way up to standing. Spine is tall. Lift up and out of the waist, glutes engage at the top. On your exhale, slow motion, lower until the hips land on top of the heels. We're gonna drop the heels back down, coming back into our bear pose. So back where we started this little mini sequence. Slight tuck of the tailbone, glutes are engaged here. One more full cycle of breath. Big inhale, maybe even an open mouth exhale. And then as you're ready for it, straighten the legs, dive the heart forward. On your inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out the spine. On your exhale, let's release, planting the hands and walking yourself all the way forward into a high plank. Wrists underneath the shoulders. Take a little shift forward and back. So getting into the wrists, getting into the ankles a bit, maybe even taking some circles on the wrists. Come through neutral, lift the right toes an inch above the floor, right foot is flexed. On your exhale, bring the right knee to tap the right elbow. We're gonna pause and hold it. While we're holding here, tap the left knee to the mat. And then as you lift the left knee, kick the right toes back, three-legged down dog. Bend the right knee and open up the hip. It's like you're trying to point the right knee up towards the ceiling, squeezing right heel towards glutes. On your exhale, right knee comes across the body to the left elbow. We're going straight into our fallen star. So straighten the right leg so the outside edge of the foot comes to the floor. Left foot spins flat. Left fingertips peel up towards sky. So hips are pulling up towards the ceiling. Reach the left hand towards the front of the room. And then keeping everything else the same, bend into the left knee. So you're sending the hips towards the back of the mat. Left fingertips reach forward. We're going to re-straighten through the left leg. Come back to hands underneath the shoulders, shift back to the ball of the left foot, but keep the outside edge of the right foot to the floor. And on your exhale, slow motion, bend into the elbows. We're lowering all the way down onto the hip, all the way down to the belly. Stay tucked onto the left toes. Big stretch for the outer right hip. Kind of like a pigeon pose, but gentler on the knee. All right, with either the hip grounded to start or lifted, we're gonna press all the way back up. And on your exhale, kick all the way back into your three-legged down dog, right toes sweep high. Drop the right toes to the mat. We're landing in our first down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Maybe pedaling the feet right and left. Shifting hips side to side. And before we swap out the sequence for the other side, we're gonna roll out the dog a couple times. So starting just in your down dog as is. And on your exhale, articulating each vertebrae in the spine like a wave, roll forward into your high plank. From your high plank, bend into the knees, let the tailbone pull the hips back, downward dog. Two more times, slow it down even more. Exhale, roll forward, high plank. And then bending into the knees, let the tailbone roll the hips back, downward facing. One more time, exhale, roll forward, high plank. Wrists under shoulders and pause. Strong, press the floor away. Lift the left toes an inch above the floor. Left foot is flexed. And on your exhale, left knee comes forward to tap the left elbow. Keep pressing the floor away while holding here. Tap the right knee to the floor. And then as you lift the right knee, kick all the way back. Three-legged down dog. Bend the knee to open the hip. So it's like you're trying to point left knee up towards the ceiling, squeezing left heel in towards glutes and pulling the heart back towards the top of the right thigh. On your exhale, left knee comes across the body, right elbow, straight into our fallen star. So left leg straightens, outside edge of the left foot to the floor as the right foot spins flat. Pull the hips up as high as you can. Reach the right hand towards the front of the room. And then bend into the right knee, pulling the hips back towards the right heel. Keep reaching right fingertips forward and spinning the heart open towards sky. As we come back through center, both hands plant, shift to the ball of the right foot. Left leg stays extended out to the right side. And then slow motion, lower all the way down to the belly. Keeping right toes tucked. Gazes towards the tops of the mat. You can keep the top of the mat. You can keep the hands planted. Just a big stretch for the outer left hip. One more cycle of breath. And then keeping the right toes tucked, press into the hands. We're gonna lift back up, press back up, and kick all the way back. Three-legged down dog, left toe sweep high. Drop the left foot next to the right foot, landing in your down dog. Drop the head so much that you're pulling the chin in towards the chest, getting length into the back of the neck, the base of the skull. And then using your next exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. In breath to halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale to release. Walk the feet wider than hip width, bend into the knees, drop the hips. Hands to interlace one more time, let's roll out the wrists. And then switch direction of the circles. And then extend the fingertips up overhead, as tall of a spine as you can. Let's root into the feet. We're gonna come all the way up to standing, arms extend, toes might still be pointed out, that's okay. Palms come to touch, little baby back bend here. Opening up the heart. Inhale to release the back bend, bring palms to touch at heart center as you walk the feet all the way together. We're moving right along in our flow today. We're gonna jump into our main sequence and it is a fun one. A lot of mobility, so give yourself what you need, adjust, improvise as you need. Bring your weight into the left foot. We're gonna cross the right ankle over the left knee, sending the hips back, the heart forward. Palms are gonna stay to touch at the heart. Take a big inhale here, and then with palms to touch, on your exhale, twist the upper body to the left, so you're working the bottom of the right elbow to the bottom of the right foot, and you're pressing the elbow into the foot or wherever it lands. It is likely that the elbow could land somewhere along the leg as well, and that is just fine. But pressing elbow into the point of contact on the leg and twisting the heart open. On your inhale, release back through center. Palms are still to touch. We're coming all the way down to the ground here, but it is likely for many of us, ooh, I'm falling, that you may need to use the support of the hands. So with or without the hands, we're gonna keep bending into the left knee until we can drop the hips all the way down to the floor. It's okay if left leg is extended out more. Okay, once you've landed to the floor, hips to the mat, right ankle is still crossed over the left knee. Now we're just twisting the legs to the left so that the bottom of the right foot meets the mat. Lift up and out of the waist, palms are still to touch. Now on your exhale, we twist to the right. So left elbow now hooks to the outside of the right knee. Pressing elbow into knee, knee back into elbow, twisting upper body over to the right. Release the twist as we come back through center. Bring the legs back through center, planting left foot to the floor. Hands come to the mat, spine is tall. You might even walk the hips towards the left heel. And then as you're ready, you can use the right hand to keep your balance. Left peace fingers come to the right big toe, and you're just gonna straighten the right leg out. That might be out here, it might be up here. It's okay if there's a bend in the right knee. I warned you we were going right into the fire today. All right, keep this grip. Left hand on the right big toe. You can use the right hand to help you to lift the hips. And then on your exhale, so we're in this like pistol squat shape with the assistance of the left hand. We're gonna ground into the left foot and come all the way up to standing. Right fingertips open up behind you. So we're twisting the upper body to the right. Lungs wrap around the heart. All right, big transition from here all the way into our half moon, levering the right leg back. Left hand drops down, right fingertips and right toes open up, Ardha Chandrasana. Option if you want it to bend into the right knee and hold on to the right foot. And if you've got the clasp on the foot, find a bit of a kick into the hand. And then releasing the right foot if you've got it. We're gonna land into our warrior two. So left knee bends, right foot plants parallel to the back edge of the mat. Fingertips reach long in both directions. So spine is tall. Reach long through the fingertips. Come up onto the left toes, so left heel lifts. Strong into the left glutes. On your inhale, reverse the warrior. Stay on the ball of the left foot. Right hand down the back of the right thigh. Left arm comes up and over. Stay on the ball of the left foot as you reach left fingertips forward and down, coming through to your side angle pose. Modification is left elbow on the left knee. But we're gonna come all the way into our bind, staying on the ball of the left foot if you can by reaching right hand behind the back. Left hand underneath and working towards interlacing fingers while on the ball of the left foot. Spin the heart open towards sky, so right shoulder spins open as much as you can. And then as you're ready, we're gonna drop the left heel down with or without the bind. So if you've got the bind, keep it. Shift to the ball of the right foot, and then lower the right knee down to the floor. If you don't have the bind, that's okay, but if you do, we're gonna play with keeping it just for one more moment. Straighten out through the left leg, even if it's just a little bit, sending the hips back. And then re-bending into the left knee, plant the foot. Release the right hand to the floor. We're gonna unwind left fingertips up towards sky. So finding a twist the other way. Option here if you want it to bend into the right knee and reach left hand around for the right foot. And releasing the right toes if you've got them. Let's drop the hands to frame out the left foot. Step all the way back to your high plank. And maybe you add on your vinyasa. Or you can go straight back, meeting in your downward dog. All right, super funky sequence. Don't say I didn't warn you. We get to do it again, and we get to hope I remember the whole thing again on the second side. On your exhale, step walk or hop the feet to the top of the mat, landing in your forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, lengthen the spine, open the mouth for your exhale, and let it go. Inhale to rise, come all the way through standing, palms touch overhead, maybe a little back bend at the top. And then on your exhale, hands move through heart center. All right, we get to do it again. Round two, weight comes into the right foot. Bend into the left knee, stacking left ankle on top of the right knee, right thigh. And again, we're keeping upper body lifted for this. You can thank whoever it was that commented on my last video saying they wanted more creative twists. Take an inhale. On your exhale, twist the upper body to the right. Left elbow works its way towards the bottom of the left foot, but it might realistically land somewhere along the leg. That's just fine. The most important thing is that you're pressing the elbow into wherever it lands to twist the heart open as much as you can. On your inhale, come back through center. Just like we did on the first side, we're coming all the way down. Use your hands if you need to, or take a different transition if you need to. No worries if you can't get there exactly this way yet. Bending into the right knee. Ooh, yeah, I need my hands on this side. I did not need them on the first, but this side I do. Okay, this is a big hip opener right here as is. If you need to walk the right foot forward, you can. Let's bring palms to touch at the heart. If they've left that space, take an inhale. And on your exhale, we're gonna drop the legs over to the right so that the bottom of the left foot comes to the floor like you're trying to point left knee up towards ceiling. And then on your exhale, twist the upper body to the left. So right elbow now hooks again into the outside of the left knee. Right elbow, left knee, we're twisting the upper body to the left. Super twisty sequence today. On your inhale, release back through center. Bring the legs back through center, so right foot replants. Fingertips can come to the floor. And find a really tall spine here as much as you can. You might walk the hips and the right heel in towards each other more. Or you might need to have the right leg long, that's also totally fine. Left hand stays rooted to the mat for support. Right peace fingers hold on to the left big toe. So many rights and lefts today. Right peace fingers hold on to the left big toe. We're gonna straighten out through the left leg, which might mean that you're pulling left thigh in towards rib cage, or you might have the left leg out more. Either are fine. It's also totally cool if you have a bend in the left knee in order to hold on to the toes. All right, with or without the use of the left hand, we're gonna lift the hips, coming back into this modified pistol squat situation. For more of a challenge, left hand lifts. You could even bring both hands to the foot for that matter. And then rooting into the right foot on your inhale, come all the way up through standing. Left leg stays extended. Left fingertips open up to the left side of the mat, towards back of the room. Heart spins to the left. Reach tall through the crown of the head. One more exhale to twist the upper body. And then as you're ready, we're gonna release the left toes and open all the way up to our half moon. Right hand drops down to the floor. If you wanna test your balance, you could hover the right fingertips above the mat. Option here if you want it to bend into the left knee and hold on to the outside edge of the left foot or towards left ankle. Kicking into the hand, open up the heart. And if you grabbed onto the left foot, left ankle, left toes, let's release it. Coming all the way back to our warrior two by bending into the right knee, left foot parallel to the back edge of the mat. Fingertips reach long in both directions. Veera Bhadrasana Two. Twist the heart to the left a bit. Come onto the right toes. So right heel is lifted from the mat. Maybe take even a deeper bend in the right knee. And then keeping the shape of the lower body, now reverse the warrior. Left hand down the back of the left thigh. Right arm comes up and over. Staying on the ball of the right foot if you can. On your inhale, we're going to come back through center. Right fingertips come forward and down. Left fingertips reach high. Again, modification is always to bring right elbow to the right knee. We're gonna work towards the bind here. So left hand behind the back, reaching towards the right inner thigh. Option if you want it to bring right hand underneath, finding the full bind, interlacing the fingers. You're still on the right toes if you can. But as always, you can drop the right heel down anytime you need to. Last breath here, spin the heart open towards sky. And then if you're still on the right toes, now let's drop the right heel down. We're gonna shift to the ball of the left foot and shift the left shoulder down just a little bit. Ooh, I'm falling. Drop the left knee to the floor. Take a big inhale, with or without the bind. On your exhale, straighten out through the right leg. Send the hips back, even if it's just a little bit. I'm feeling super tight today. I'm filming this in the morning, so all good if you're with me on that. Rebending into the right knee. Let's plant the right foot. Unwind the bind. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but unwind left hand to the mat and right fingertips open up. This feels so good to me to release the twist in the opposite direction. Maybe you bend into the left knee and hold on to the right toes here. Opening the heart towards sky. And then releasing the left toes, circle the hands back to frame out the right foot. We're coming all the way back into your high plank. Wrists underneath shoulders. Take a full breath here. Big inhale, big exhale. As you're ready for it, either a vinyasa with breath, or send the hips straight up and back to your downward dog. Drop the weight of the head, soften the jaw. Maybe even an open mouth exhale. As you're ready for it, walk the hands to the back of the mat, landing in your forward fold with feet hip-width distance apart. And then bend into the knees. Inhale, come up, bear pose. Hips back, heart forward, slight tuck of the tailbone, core is strong. On your inhale, come all the way to standing. Arms touch or palms touch overhead. Shift onto the toes. Circle the hands around so that they interlace at the low back. So fingers to interlace, heels of the palms squeeze towards each other. You're on the toes, and we're diving the heart forward. Heart towards the tops of the thighs. Heels lift. Totally fine if you fall out and come back in. Squeeze heels of the palms together. Drop the heels to the floor and bend into both knees so much so that you're even sinking the heart down between the thighs a bit. And then shift your weight into the right foot. Left leg kicks up towards sky as you straighten out through both legs. Finding your standing split at the back of the mat with hands interlaced. Come back where we just were in this deep bend in the knees, bear shape. Both feet to the floor, heart sinks between the thighs. And then shift your weight into left foot like you're kicking off of the ground with the left foot as right toes sweep high. Ooh, I'm wobbly today, team. Squeeze heels of the hands together. Just pull the right toes high so that right leg is active in your standing split shape. Come back through center. Feet wider than hip width distance. Release the palms. Release the interlace of the hands and bring palms to touch at the heart. Crown of the head to reach high. Find a tall spine here. One more time, let's interlace fingers. roll out wrists. And we're gonna play with a little bit of arm balancing before we make our way down. So, option one, you don't have to arm balance. You can hang out right here in your malasana, yogi squat. You can keep loving on the wrists a bit. And even just sitting here, you're getting into the hips and the low back. Or you can plant the hands for crow pose, shoulder width distance apart. Knees work their way up the backs of the arms, and you're shifting forward to lift the toes. Press the floor away with the hands. So you're lifting up and out of the back body. And then option, if you want it, to play with hovering one knee off the back of the arm and straightening the right leg out. And then coming back through center and swapping it out for the other side, moving back and forth here. Again, all are just options. If you want to add on to that, you could kick the leg back and then tuck one knee behind the other. Woo! And then come back through center and swap it out. So weight comes now into the other knee, kicking left leg back, tucking left knee behind the right, and then back through center. Guys, I'm struggling today. I'm trying to keep up with you all, really. When you're done playing, let's come back through center. One last time, roll out wrists. And then we'll lift the hips, coming back into our forward fold. Walk yourselves back forward into a high plank. Take an even bigger step forward with the hands, so you're hollowing out the plank. Press the floor away, biceps towards the ears. Glutes engage, strong through the core. And then soften the knees down, untuck the toes, roll the belly and the hips down and through for either seal pose, which means the elbows are lifted, or sphinx pose with the elbows to the ground, and in this case, the elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. Strong press of the floor away, either with the forearms or with the hands, wherever you're at. Big opener for the belly, for the heart, for the spine. And then on your exhale, soften the heart all the way to the floor. Slide the hands back underneath the shoulders. Stay grounded in the knees and come all the way back into a child's pose. Hips towards the heels. Arms to walk out long in front of you, forehead to the floor. With your exhale, walk both hands over to the right. Left hand presses on top of right hand. Left shoulder shifts down. And then inhale to walk back through center and over to the left. Right hand presses on top of left hand. Right shoulder shifts down. Then inhale to walk the hands back through center. Walk the hands back towards body. We're going to come through a seat. Start by just extending the legs out to a straddle. Just one seated stretch here today. Sit up tall out of the waist. If you need to sit up onto something, like a pillow or a block or a blanket to get the hips up a bit higher, that is an option here. As you're ready for it, you can walk the hands forward. Maybe eventually working towards making your way down onto the forearms or towards the belly. Wherever you land, toes are pointed up towards the ceiling, so the feet are not rotating in. Big inhale, big exhale, last one here. And then come back up through center. Extend the legs out long, scooch all the way to the top of your mat. Arms reach up overhead, only for a moment. We're folding forward. One last hammy stretch here. Heart towards tops of the thighs. Last breath, just one breath here. And then inhale, rebounds you back up through center. Arms reach. Exhale to roll down the spine, firing up the core. So one vertebrae at a time. Make your way all the way down. Arms reach up overhead at the bottom, kicking through heels, reaching through fingertips. And then pull the right knee into the chest. Right thigh squeezes towards right rib cage, compressing into the right hip. Drop the right arm out, either to a cactus or into a T. And then on your exhale, guide the right knee over the left side of the body. Big supine twist. And inhale to come back through center. Swap it out. Left knee pulls in, right leg reaches long. Left thigh squeezes towards left rib cage. And then dropping the left arm out on your exhale, find the twist. Left knee over the right side of the body. Inhale to come back through center. And then we land all the way on our backs in Shavasana. Finishing out. These 30-minute flows always feel so quick to me. Finishing out the practice by lying on the back. Notice if there's any adjustments you need to make to get comfortable. Eyes closed if they haven't already. Soften through the jaw, soften the muscles in the face. Invite in a little bit of a deeper breath. Through the nose, out the mouth, letting energy move through, letting stagnant buildup of energy move through. And then wiggling the fingers and wiggling the toes. Take some movement in the wrists and the ankles. Working our way back towards movement, towards seated, slowly. So you might reach arms up overhead, finding a full body stretch. You might pull the knees in towards the chest or roll onto a side. No right or wrong here. Keep the eyes closed for as much of the transition up as you can. And once you find yourself seated, hands can either come to touch at the heart or they can stay resting in the lap. But before we move out of our practice and into the day or evening or week or weekend or whatever it is where you are, before that, set the tone here for how you will carry yourself off of your mat. Who is the person that you want to be in the world, and how can your practice serve that? I thank you so much for moving with me, so much for sitting with me, and happy day, evening, week, weekend to you. Namaste. Thank you all so much. I'll see you again next week.